but all of these guys have been helping. Right, Norman?
You are now watching the 2025 season of Farming with Duffy Ag.
Welcome back to the channel. So previously we were getting some soybeans in the ground. A lot of people have a lot of different ways of farming. Do I do everything right? No. Are we doing what works for our operation right now? Yes. So the people that get really worked up about rolling the ground and not picking every single rock, well, if you live in Iowa, Illinois, basically places that have really good ground that don't have thousands of little rocks per acre, yeah, you don't have to pick all, you can pick all the rocks and be good. But we, on the other hand, like the home farm, I can pick rocks. Where we're planting soybeans, there's a lot of small rocks, and we will be there, we'd be there till fall trying to pick all the rocks. Yes, they make rock rakes, yes, they do this, but honestly, it's working out, other than Mother Nature. So oh my god, yesterday was a depressing day, to be honest. That is almost 2.5 inches we got yesterday, over the weekend, we will say, because it was Saturday, it was Friday evening into Saturday. The garden's getting a little outrageous now because it won't stop raining. We don't get much sunlight, so I gotta pick some of this, get that going. Onions is actually thriving, broccoli's thriving. There's a lot of stuff thriving. Peppers are just sad because it won't stop raining. But the big thing is we can't do any field work. There's a lot of people that are very nervous. Honestly, for our timing, we are on schedule as usual. We're planting about this time, but it's the fact that nobody can plant anything. Fields are washing away, crops are drowning. Usually in the Northeast, we don't have much replant due to timing and everything else like that. And honestly, if it floods out, it floods out. There's a lot of places that have flooded out bad. But alrighty, I gotta go get the white truck. We're moving that home. It's got some work where it's at right now. It's so wet. It's gonna be unbelievably wet. I didn't even think about that. They have Circle Y coming in with the tractors to do the corn ground because it is just phenomenal. It's horribly wet. So at the end of the day, we're gonna get the truck home. We got some ground we can run if it ever dries out. The schedule for weather was 2 days of no rain. Now it's back to, we have 1 day and then it's gonna rain a ½ inch or something, and then we have a good day and then a ½ inch. So it is, I don't know what we're gonna honestly do. We're just pushing through in times. But Harley's gonna give me a ride up there and I'll show you some damage that is, it's bad. Huh. You can see again in here.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. If you guys didn't notice, the lights were burning out. Which is kind of surprising because I think I put all new lights in 2 years ago.
The bulbs I got are a little different than the others.
Yeah.
Have that, like, top.
You did a good job. Proud of you. So, farm manager. People are asking if she's on the payroll because I'm slave driving her. You on the payroll? Do you get paid?
I make so much money, it's crazy. It's rolling in the dough.
Yep. Gonna buy a lake house and a pontoon boat. Good morning, everybody. You guys don't mind the cold or the rain and cold, but you'd rather, like, you know, have better weather than being out in the rain. Yeah.
We're all sleeping in the bed pack.
Really? Somebody always says that. They say, why do you bed your cows? They can live outside. They don't. Out here, we just let them live outside. Well, we have the hay. It's comfort. They're a whole lot cleaner because they are going to find a spot to hang out. And if it's raining and having problems, they do like laying in here. So wind and gusts and everything else, right, Swiss? You're looking good. You got a little bit on you. But yeah, if you got it, you might as well take care of your animals. I know there's people that just leave them out on pasture, they never go in a barn, nothing like that. But we got the opportunity of that, and honestly, I like keeping pastures looking good and them looking good. So they are working on getting this back pasture on the pond really chewed down. And if you guys remember, when we first let them out, this was a jungle. I went and mowed around everything. Fence lines are looking really good, actually. There's going to be some weeds that they don't touch that we're going to have to mow or spray. And then overall, this is always wet. And surprisingly, it's the wettest year we've had. It's wet. Well, herd's looking good. So, right, Biscuit? Alrighty, we're gonna go get the white truck. Farm manager is making moves here. So she took down all of, there was plywood on some of these, 3 of them, and yeah, it's to keep in the winter and stuff like that. There's no windows here or there, but getting some more airflow through here so that animals can be good in here, because you know.
Because it's got this board.
You got a little bit more room. Move your fingers and push up. Good job not pinching your fingers. Sunday hospital call is not a good one. But yeah, milking cows.
No. So
I spilled a few soybeans in the driveway as we were loading and stuff. It bounced out of the hoppers, and as you see, this is 4 days after, and they're starting to germinate. So we're gonna have soybeans in the driveway. They were bouncing around, and I was struggling. Okay, so yesterday we left. We actually went out and looked at some grain handling facility, what we're gonna do. So, and you went to work. I joined her, and it was raining. We got 2.5 inches of rain. It's depressing. So yesterday we came down to here, and as you see, right over there, you can see all the matted down weeds, and you can see all the dirt in the weeds over here. There was water running across this new culvert, and Billy, who is the town supervisor, he was parked up there, and we were talking.
It's not bad today.
It's not bad today. So you can see though the destruction that it went through. I'm glad it didn't rip the road out, honestly. So with all that water, it was flooding over the road here, down in there. You can see the water. So there's a stream that goes up through. You can see the water where it went through here. Billy, the town supervisor, is parked here, and we were talking, and he said he hasn't seen this kind of water since Hurricane Irene, which I was in college. This is somebody's driveway. So the fact that you see all of this rock in their driveway, it came from somewhere. Like, this was not how it was. I wish I had a before picture of it.
The driveway was also like,
it was clean.
a third of that width.
Yeah, it was very clean, but there's sticks up there and stuff. Like, it's wild. Yeah, somebody messed up on sizing this culvert that's brand new. Oh my God. This is insane. Okay, here's another spot. So this was had water going all over it. As you see, this is people's house, and the water was up to their front door. It was nuts, honestly. Like, there's been some high water since I've been here, but Irene literally flooded valleys, and people were washed out, and the National Guard was here bringing fuel, stuff like that. Not particularly up here, but south. I was in college at that time. And Irene was in the fall. Everybody was trying to get crops off and it made a disaster. Now we're all trying to get crops in and there's literally fields floating away. But hopefully a couple days of no rain and we will, we're not getting no rain. That's the problem. Yep, looks like a good day. Had the queen drop me off up here, so the white truck's been up here for a little bit. We got their pit down enough that it didn't overflow. So, but we spread on the hay ground, and as you see, it's coming back aggressively. So, Double A will be back in here, get it chopped off at some point. The problem is it's so friggin' wet. I told Rob, I said, if it dries out, I'll keep spreading up here for you. But at the end of the day, you can see all those standing water around the pit. It is not dried out. It just keeps raining. So I believe Circle Y, Yakabuchi's are coming in on Monday. Today is Sunday. And I said, I'll get the truck out of the way. We're probably gonna go field spread on sandy ground if it dries out enough this week. We will see. The other truck should be moving. We should be doing crop work, but honestly, we can't do any crop work. I was hoping maybe this afternoon I'd roll, and I said no, probably tomorrow morning we'll get rolling. But Crazy Eyes out on holiday pretty much, living it up. So mascot over here. I'll get fueled up and we'll send this home. Alrighty, so they were right. Same setup as ours. You need that bar in between to really make it function properly to depth it. But we're making it work. Also, I like this. We got to do that because our hoses just hang out there. But yeah, a bunch of people are really confused about cultimulters and rolling, but clearly we've seen Rob out rolling, leveling out fields, and yeah, they work. Somebody did say I got to pick more rocks. Yeah, we'd be there. I don't get it. Alrighty. I figured I'd stop and look at that set because that's the same set as what I got. We are back from some adventures. Gonna get some of the garden done. Yeah. Colburn was like, you should grow some broccoli. So we added that broccoli a little bit ago. Peppers are not too happy, but with the amount of rain we've had, I'm hoping it comes back some. Lettuce is looking killer, like absolutely killer. Tomatoes are doing okay. The rest of the pepper's not good. Onions, and my tulips that were not garlic. So, but peas over here are doing fire, so we got to throw up our fence so that they can grow up through it. Did that last year, really liked it.
All right, so we are here in the barn. Clearly a little dirty. So this afternoon I have spent getting the barn kind of cleaned up, doing some cobwebs, sweeping, all that good stuff. So here on the opposite side of the barn, I think Chris showed the other day, taking some of these windows out. They were all kind of boarded up. There's a bunch of scrap wood over here and just miscellaneous junk. So we got all that cleaned out, got the windows opened up today, got everything kind of cleaned up a little bit more. Milwaukee blower, life changing. So much better than sweeping and dusting all of this stuff. So super happy with that. I got that for Chris for his birthday, I think it was. But all of these guys have been helping. Right, Norman? They are very unsure of what's going on, but curious. Come on. Oh, missed the spot. So, Chris is finishing up what he's doing, and then he's going to come in, and we're going to be starting a fun project of cutting some more stalls out. And it's just going to be this side. We're going to leave that side of stalls in for now, but just cutting this whole section down through here of stalls out. And we are doing that so that we can start building pens in here. We have everything. Should have showed it when I was on the other side. We started kind of measuring things out. Got our little pink dots on the floor. So measuring out our pens, kind of figuring out what we want to do, how big we want them to be, how many, so on and so forth. So the pens are going to be put in for a multitude of reasons and a multitude of different types of animals. For example, like when we have our cows calving, it'll be a good place for them to come in and have their calves, and then they're right here if they need any sort of treatment or anything. It's a little safer. Also to hopefully at some point bring some of my animals here. We are not milking cows. I have no desire to. Chris has no desire to. But either way, gonna fill these pens with animals at some point. So yeah, hopefully here pretty soon he'll be in and can start cutting these. He's gonna kind of teach me how to do it since I've never done it. And yeah.
So the amount of water we have been getting is ridiculous, and it's a struggle. We're gonna get it done. It's just gonna take us a little longer, but yes, Harley's been working in there. Let me show you what me and her did last night, as far as the barn and what our plan is and why our plan is that way. What we ended up doing was putting wire nuts or getting the light fixtures actually back to good in the middle. So before we had the outsides, and as she said, she went around and put new bulbs in. I put the middle back in. I have the fixtures out down there, but put this light back in. Put the covers back on. This one down here was smashed. We actually had a light from a partner from Demolier. Ended up putting that one in. I really like it. It's adjustable. But our long-term plan in here is to utilize this space. It's not the best space. It's not the most efficient space. So how much money do we actually want to put in long-term? From here down to the end right here was the original barn. And then I believe it says 1953 is from here. You can see the rafters change, or there's no beam right there. Changes and goes that way. So I got to figure out, or I got to sit down with John or somebody in town and figure out when this one was actually built. I'm sure there's somebody watching that knows, because there's a lot of people that watch locally. But we were never going to milk cows. We're never going to milk cows, period, okay? End of the day, it ties us down. People say, oh, it's another income source. It is very challenging to milk cows, especially on a small scale, and financially make it at this moment. You got to do something else. Yes, we do YouTube. Milking cows is the same routine every day. It doesn't give you any flexibility to go do anything else, to film stuff, to have projects. It's challenging. I have a lot of friends that milk cows anywhere from, I'm trying to think who's the smallest I know. 20 cows? 15 cows? Actually, I know a buddy who milks 1 cow. It's a show animal. The largest person I know, well, in New Zealand, so they did sell a lot of that off. We were milking 12,000 cows between 9 sites. I don't even know how many they're milking right now, but single farm, probably 6,000. So multiple farms. I have a lot of friends that do milk 8 to 10,000 cows. That's the scale the U.S. works on. We are an economy of scale. It does become more efficient at that point. That is a lot of animals. That's a lot of moving parts. That's a lot of headaches. But for me to milk cows again, I'd have to lose my mind. Previous stuff put me back as far as wanting that life. Long term, it's very challenging to have a family, to do everything else, to have flexibility. We haul manure. Yeah. Milking cows is challenging. So hats off to all my friends that do milk cows. But in here, it's not efficient to milk cows. Ideally, we'd be milking jerseys, short stalls, everything else like that. Need mats. We took the pipeline out, things like that. So what we are going to do, and we're still hoping for some pigs this year. We got it lined up. I do got to move these bales out. Yeah, do have to do that. My long-term goal has always been have pens in here and have it so you can calve in animals, put things in places, utilize the space because we have it. So what we started doing yesterday was cutting stalls out, and I cut stalls out of the end, but I did not cut the neck rail. I do believe we are going to jackhammer or cut this out. Maybe I'll jackhammer it out. It doesn't have to be perfect because we are going to put bedding down over it. But where we're at right now, we are going to make one pen to either house 1 to 3 animals. This is for Harley right now, as far as she wants to bring animals back, either calves or heifers. No cows. We're not milking cows. Maybe a dry cow. Who knows? But being able to house and have probably one pen here, the other side of this post. Yes, these upright posts are going to be challenging. 2 pen, 3 pen. We are probably going to leave a few stalls in, but long term, probably put another pen over here. We are going to put headlocks in here for the full size animals to train them, because yes, that's calf size headlocks over there, so that we can do vet checks and things like that. Kind of a specialty barn as far as the layout, but being able, because we are going to have 2 miniature Herefords calving, and the calves cannot just be out in the wild at first. They're going to be 35 pounds. They are confirmed. Hopefully they're both females. We will see. Why did we get the mini Herefords? A bunch of people always ask that. It was priced right. If we didn't want them, we could turn around and double our money that day. That the person I bought him from, he said he'd really like to see him on the channel and go from there. But somebody offered him double of what we paid. And honestly, the calves are worth big money. Right now, the market on that side is ridiculous. I was talking to a gentleman the other day. Pregnant cow, $3,000. The market's worth that. But I'm not paying that. So we're working on some deals. We might have some young animals coming in this summer. Norman will leave at some point. Michael will leave at Damascus. The steers will leave. Long term, they were lawnmowers. They've been great, part of the family, but this is a business still at the end of the day. It is somewhat of a business. So what I got to do, so we need pens to calve out the beefers. Not theoretically long term, but the minis definitely are not going to go calve on pasture and run around, because those calves will be gone. So at the end of the day, we got to work with them. People have told us it's very challenging as far as minis. We got them because honestly, me and Harley went halves on them, and I think they're just going to be cool. They're going to be cool content. So we're going to build our first pen here. We got plenty of bedding. We can get straw. I can get sawdust. I'm not worried about any of that stuff. I don't like that the posts are in the middle, but that is supporting upstairs. Maybe we could take them out now that we're not using upstairs, but we're not going to mess with that. They did jackhammer the bottom or chip it out and then re-cement it. So originally it was just these big uprights, none of those metal posts. But one pen there, one pen here, enough room to walk around the back side of it so that we can easily not have them lick the windows, but easily work with everything at the same point. We got water in the barn already. We do plan on filling the grate in because it will come up to about here with the posts. And then we'll put a gate. And yeah, I got some things in mind already. I like these projects, and the fact I got a significant other that wants to do them with me. And yesterday she was grinding out stalls and cutting stuff with me. And yeah, she's a keeper. But We probably will have to jackhammer or cut that curb just to make life easier. I do have a friend. We were talking on the phone earlier. He is pretty big into the concrete cutting world. Like, very big into it. So, but we might core drill. We might lag down post. We got to see exactly. But in the next few days, probably in the next week, we plan on having a pen in here to some degree moving forward. So with that being said, that's our plan on the barn right now, Yanko, right? This side we're going to leave alone for right now. Like I said, there might be some heifers that come in and get utilized on this side. This end has got to get cleaned out, and we'll probably have pigs back in it. I'm thinking, honestly, what did we have last night? Chicken bacon ranch, tacos pretty much. I guess wraps. Our bacon's phenomenal. I got a ham steak going right now with honey and brown sugar that I'm going to cook tonight. I love how good, did you love your buddies? I loved how good Yanko and the pigs got along, and it made it creative. But these bales have to get out, and they're not horrible, these bales, but there's spots in them that I don't like, and I'll feed them, but sending them down the road, they get a little more challenging. But alrighty, I figured I'd let you know exactly where we're at in here. I showed you a little bit of it. Repurposing something that is, I'm not going to say this was built in the 30s, the 40s. I don't know. Somebody's got to know old barns. These big old timbers and stuff. Actually, we'll go upstairs for a second. You want to go upstairs and show them? We have showed up here a few times, but every time people ask about it. Our space utilization up here is very limited because I'm not doing small square bales at all. This pile, I think, is holding the wall up, so we're not going to mess with that right now. But these beams, being as big as they are, that one over there is probably 2 foot, which that would be the new section of barn. And this is the older stuff, but these were hand cut and very impressive. But somebody wired it at one point and, well, cabled it all together so it doesn't push out. So this barn's got a lot of life left to it, but efficiency for me, it's really not there. For anybody, it's really not there. But we're going to utilize it and we're going to repurpose it. If you pee on that. So if anybody knows the historical side of any of this, see, I think that says 1950. It might say 1950, which would mean, so the barn ended right here. It went across, and that's all new. So that's 1950. So somebody tell me when this barn was built, if you know anything about old school engineering and barn building. But I'm going to feed, well, actually, I'm going to see where they're at. The animals, they might not be coming down for grain yet. Oh, they look so good. Alrighty, I'll give them grain, but I appreciate you guys watching along. A little update on what our plans are. Really appreciate Harley being involved in my life, being involved in YouTube, and honestly, making it happen with us. So appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hopefully we got some more sun. I feel like it's gonna rain again. That's all we can do.